Hey everybody, we just talked with Seth Wheat with Kentucky State Parks all about the things that are happening in the state parks this fall. We think you'll want to listen along. We're at Green River Hill Grocery today, and we think, we could be wrong, we think we're just like right at an hour from 10 Kentucky State Parks here. Isn't that insane? And we're also in between the two national parks or the National Historic Site of Lincoln's birthplace and Mammoth Cave. Yep. So particularly in this area of Kentucky, there's so many things going on that people can get out into the parks and enjoy, whether it's a state or a national one. And there's also, it's happening all over the state. If you live in the eastern part of the state, we feel like there's lots of state parks there that people can access easily. And the same thing is true with the western part of the state.
I've heard this, it's not really a quote, it's not really a statistic, but this saying that, I don't know who it's attributed to or where it came from or even if it's accurate, but the idea was that every Kentuckian would be within a certain distance, an hour to an hour and a half of a state park. At some point in time, that was an actual, someone actually gave thought to that.
Right.
I don't know if that's true, but regardless of it, that seems to be the case.
It's unreal. Yeah. Because of course we talk about road trips and people taking, day trips can be road trips, overnights. There's no real definition.
Make it what you want, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And the state parks in Kentucky just make lovely road trips. And this fall especially, because I know you have a lot coming up that, people can get into the parks and enjoy.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
What all do you all have coming up?
Well, I don't, to start, I guess I just say, and I always say this about wintertime, and we'll talk about that hopefully at another podcast. But, fall and winter are the best times to be in the parks.
We totally agree.
With fall's probably the best time overall for most people to be outside in Kentucky. And when you put that against the backdrop of the leaves changing and all the wonderful things that happen in fall, it's a pretty magical thing. But fall's a phenomenal time to get outside.
It is. You've got the cool down. You're worrying less about bugs. It's a trail time as far as we think. Camping is more pleasant.
Everything's more pleasant. It's not.
A campfire at night is more pleasant.
Like I said, I like to encourage people to get out in the wintertime too, but oftentimes, you'll have to dress for the cold or inclement weather. But in the fall, normally the weather is just perfect.
Yeah.
Or for me, it is.
It is.
So you can go out and do any number of activities. We'll have water in most of our rivers and creeks still, good flow. Great time to be on the trails. And like you said, camping is much more enjoyable than it is as we sit here today and record this. But heck, even now, in the heat of summer, within 100 degrees, you can still find ways to stay cool and get out and have fun. But yes, to your question, fall, when you think about parks, you think about the team I work with, the traditional busy season is, Memorial Day to Labor Day,
yes.
the summer season. And that is still very true. But I don't know if fall is not busier for us now, especially the month of October.
Really?
Yeah.
And what do you attribute that to?
I don't know. When I was a kid, I remember fall break being 2 days off school, maybe one day some weeks.
Okay.
And now everybody gets a week off. Yeah. It's a full-on
it's a standard.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So there's more opportunities for, I think, families to travel. During the pandemic, we saw an explosion in the amount of people that were just engaging in any outdoor activity. But that certainly holds true for camping and people pulling RVs or campers or things like that. And so our campgrounds, are at capacity, it seems like, the entire month of October now. Not to say they weren't busy beforehand, but now you better have your site well in advance if you're trying to get to our more popular campgrounds. We're doing a lot of programming out of the campgrounds also for those guests, in addition to the lodges and other places we do our programming and events. But it just seems like, I don't know, we don't have the best visitor data at the moment. We have good ideas of how many folks we get from a number of different ways, but this is just me, spitballing here. But I'd say fall, and particularly October, is one of our busiest months now.
That's pretty great.
Yeah.
Yeah. People catching on to how great it is out there.
Oh, yeah. I think so.
And don't you think not only just fall break, but people tend to take longer weekends in the fall? Mm-hmm. I think they're more focused on hopefully being outside, and they've realized how amazing it really is out there.
If you're not a person that likes to get out in the winter, maybe you're trying to get all you can in before it gets real cold. And I can understand that.
Good point.
So maybe that's part of it too.
Yeah.
But a lot of our events, we've got some of our biggest events of the year that happen in the fall. Primarily, I'm thinking about Salt Fest up at Big Bone Lick.
Okay.
And this is the 41st year for that. I'll pull the weekend up here. Sorry, I had to bring a cheat sheet, you all.
Now, we have not been to Salt Fest, so you'll have to tell us a little bit about what that even means.
Big Bone Lick, is named after the salt lick that's located there on the park. And so go back eons when, mastodons and large mammoths and all these other creatures and wildlife were, as they would migrate and travel throughout the state, they would seek out those salt springs.
They would congregate.
Yes. And so then man followed, right? The native people, the European settlers, as they came through, they followed there. There were encampments set up near these things because it became a place of trade and commerce and where you could hunt the animals and find the animals and all these other things. So at its core, Salt Fest is a celebration of that history, that kind of ancient history to that ground and what makes it important.
Got it.
And they have tons of living history demonstrators. They actually make salt the way that man did however many hundreds of years ago, where they take the water and they cook it all day long and boil it down. And you look at how long it takes them to make it to how little yield they get. And you think, wow.
Thanks for Morton's.
It's, life was certainly a lot different back then. Yeah. But they do all kinds of stuff. They've got games for kids to play, face painting. It's a full, long weekend. Friday's usually a day just for school field trips. So I think last year they had 2,000 kids, if I remember right, just on that Friday. And then Saturday, Sunday open to the public, and it's people coming in all day long. They got food there. It's a really great, signature event for that park and for, I think, Kentucky State Parks as a whole. But this year it is October 17th.
October
17th.
And we did get to go to Big Bone Lake. We podcasted with them. Oh, that was fascinating. Claire. Oh, my gosh.
How nice was that?
Yeah.
She's awesome. So knowledgeable.
How did y'all do yoga with a bison?
We did not.
She does yoga with the bison.
We did not know that was an option.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Yeah, she does those all throughout the year. So anybody that wants to learn about anything I'm saying today, parks.ky.gov. We've got a full calendar of events, and they do that bison with the yoga throughout the year, and you can learn more about Salt Fest online too, of course. Couple that stood out to me. One is at Wycliffe Mounds.
Okay.
We've talked about it. You all have also been there and talked to some of our staff out at Wycliffe.
Your staff there is fabulous. So knowledgeable.
This event is Saturday, August 30th. Bats in your backyard. Discover the variety of bats that make Western Kentucky and Tennessee their home, and learn how you can support biodiversity by building a thriving habitat in your own backyard.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Isn't that cool?
That is cool.
Yeah. I know I have friends who have put bat houses up, and I intend to do that one day too at my place, but I've not done it yet.
How cool. The staff there is amazing. So I'm imagining them pulling that off quite brilliantly and inspiring people to do that. It's such a nice park.
That same day at John James Audubon, they have an event called What Flies at Night.
Ooh.
So it starts at 7:30 in the evening and goes till 10 o'clock. And it's all about the different insects and bugs and things that are out making noise during the nighttime.
Cool.
And if you live, in the country like I do, like I'm sure I know you all do, and a lot of people do in Kentucky, some days I'll just go stick my head out or just walk outside on the back porch when it's night out and just see what's making noise.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fun thing to do. And I know a little bit about what I'm hearing, but I don't know a lot.
Right.
And so if you want to go learn about what all it is you're hearing and what they're doing and what those critters are, August 30th at John James Audubon would be a good time to do that.
That's fascinating. And never have I ever heard of such an event. I've never thought about, hey, let's go and let somebody teach us what's out there right now.
We've got such a creative team.
Yeah, I believe it. Yoga with bison. I mean, enough said, right?
Another one of our, signature style events, or one that's been around certainly for a long time, is at Carter Caves, the Fraley Music Festival. And I'm bouncing around on dates. I apologize because I started with Salt Fest, but I'm going a little more chronologically now. So this is September 3rd through the 6th at Carter Caves State Resort Park. And it's basically just, a multi-day celebration of traditional Eastern Kentucky music and the heritage and the culture and the history that goes all around that. It's been around for several years. It's very popular. And there's so many, I'm sure, of your all's audience that is music fans in addition to being travel fans. I think those two go hand in hand.
Sure.
That'd be a pretty cool thing to check out.
That'd make a great road trip. Where does the majority of the music happen in that park? The park is so lovely. There's so many different locations.
I don't really know.
That's okay.
I've never been.
I'm imagining, like a band setting up in front of one of the caves, or a band setting up by the lodge, or
I think most of it's up at the lodge.
Okay.
But I can find out.
No, I was just in my mind just went like, gosh, that is a park that will surprise you because of all the geological features that they offer, and so many different. Like there's just not one hub. It's kind of like Acadia National Park. When you go to Acadia, there's not just one place you're going to see all the things. Carter Caves, I think, strikes us the same way. There's so many different locations that you're going to want to see. Natural arches and caves and just their beautiful forest land. Box Canyon. Oh my gosh. Smoky Lake. I mean, there's lots of things going on at Carter Caves.
Yeah, it's surrounded. We have a few parks that are this way. It's surrounded by that state forest.
Yes.
The state park is. And so when you look at it that way, it's a huge tract of land there with all sorts of things to see and do, and trail systems, and Tigers Creek, which flows through there. And what I like about Carter Caves is, I forget the highway number, but when you're coming out of Olive Hill, headed towards the state park, and you turn left, you've got that long, windy drive through the woods. Yeah. And the closer you get to the park, the more remote it feels. And then you'll see the little gift shop area down there on the right. And it's similar like at a place like Lake Cumberland, where you turn off the highway off 127, I think, and you still got 5 miles to go through the woods. It kind of gets your mind like
prepared.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. For the immersion that you're about to experience.
Like you almost feel your tension go, and you just kind of get ready to go experience the park and all it has to offer from that nice little trip there.
Yeah. Buckhorn Lake is the same way.
Buckhorn Lake is the same way.
So remote. That road alone is so remote. And it really does make you feel like you are immersing yourself. Mammoth Cave National Park is the same
Mammoth Cave does the same thing. Pennyroyal Forest.
Yes.
Even like Barkley.
Yes.
Coming off Highway 80 there before you turn off when you get to the bridge.
Yeah.
And you kind of have to wind back up there to get to the cove.
It's a really good point.
There's several of them there that way.
The ride in sets the stage.
You start seeing the park signs that are so familiar to people, and it's a welcoming sight.
Great anticipation, for sure.
All right, 2 events I want to talk about at Cumberland Falls. September 5th is Weekend for Women.
Oh.
So it's a woman's only event, helping teach people who may not be as familiar with the outdoors to learn all sorts of things.
Cool.
They're going to do a bonfire on Friday night, full day of programming on Saturday, and on Sunday the 7th, morning sound healing with instruments, and then a time of reflection and saying goodbye to everybody. So again, we've got a great team out there at Cumberland Falls. So that's an exciting thing they're doing. The other event I wanted to talk about that's coming up at Cumberland Falls is a camp out at the fire tower, the Pinnacle Knob Fire Tower. I believe there's still a video on YouTube of our former naturalist at Cumberland Falls who took her camera up and went up in the fire tower. It was from 1937. I don't know if I just said that or not, but they have restored the interior of the fire tower. And I'm assuming everybody knows, fire tower. People who work for the Forest Service would be able to get up there and they could triangulate forest fires when they saw them based on where the smoke was from and where the other fire towers are located. And so they would have to stay up there. And so they've got it restored to like what the Forest Service team member would be living in while he was on duty up there. So this event, the Pinnacle Knob Camp Out, is September 13th. It's Saturday, and they take off at 5 p.m. So again, all this is online. You can reserve your spot for that. And I have never done that, but that's definitely on my list sometime to do, is to go up there and stay at Pinnacle Knob.
We haven't been to Pinnacle Knob. We've been to several places at Cumberland Falls, but we haven't done that.
One big event that happens in Lexington every year is the Waveland Art Fair at Waveland State Historic Site. We partner with our good friends over at the Kentucky Arts Council. I think they're a big partner for this event, and local artisans and craftspeople come and display and sell things all weekend long. That's the 6th and 7th of September.
And is that on the whole grounds or just in the...
Yeah.
The grounds are beautiful there.
It is. It's a nice little park, isn't it?
The gardens are gorgeous. I mean, I can imagine that would be a lovely event.
We've got a local, I think, garden club from Lexington that helps us take care of that, which we certainly appreciate. But yeah, Waveland's a great little park. It's not... Like E.P. Tom Sawyer is in Louisville, right? It feels like an urban park.
Yeah.
Waveland's a little more on the edge of Lexington, I would say, but I don't know. I don't spend a ton of time in Lexington anymore. Yeah, kind of on the edge there. But still, I mean, if you're in Lexington, it's super easy to get to and just a great place to go picnic or spend the day, get outside and see something other than downtown Lexington for a little while if you need to. But the art fair is a really cool event they've been doing for a few years now. So that's coming up September 6th and 7th. I almost hesitate to talk about this one because it's sold out. So people can get tickets, but it's a pretty cool event.
And they can plan for 2026.
Well,
perhaps.
So the Louisville Orchestra has been going throughout the state this year. I think they got some special funding to go do, yes, ma'am, in Harmony Tour. So September 19th, they're coming to Cumberland Falls to play at Cumberland Falls. Wow. Yeah, and we've sold out tickets. You know, we've got limited capacity there, but we're excited about it. Hopefully we'll have a lot of good things to share on social media from that. So check that out. And who knows, maybe that's something that could continue into the future. But
what a special event.
Our team there at Cumberland Falls, our manager and our whole team there are super excited about that and have planned a day full of activities for people that are coming to see the orchestra. And, I think the orchestra has been really great to work with. And it's such something really nice to offer in that area of the state and everywhere else they've been. So who knows what that'll turn into. But, throughout the last year and a half, really, we've tried to do more arts-focused events. And I think this is sort of in line with that. Our writers' workshops we did with Silas House, and we've done one with Frank X. Walker, Crystal Wilkinson, and we've got another one we're in the stages of planning right now. So hopefully by the time I come back, I'll have the dates for that. But yeah, trying to build better connections and actively encourage more people from the arts community to come experience the parks and stay there, create their work there, and just really kind of get into the whole vibe of our state parks.
Right about there.
Yeah. I mean, what a great environment to write something.
I would think so, right, Tony? Yeah,
absolutely.
Whether it's a song or a poem or whatever, or a painting.
A lot of parks, I was going to say,
creating a work,
even in years past, have done different, paint and sip classes, with a local artist, and you get some wine and they'll help you, kind of prompt you to do different paintings and things. And so that's certainly great. And we're just trying to do more that we can. Yeah.
Your writing workshops have gone splendidly. Correct.
They've gone really well. Yeah. It's, again, we've gotten a lot of help from groups like the Arts Council and some folks who regularly do these kinds of events. And, they've offered to help us even more going forward in the future, so it can be something that's more consistent, offered more throughout the year. Because, thankfully they've been popular. We've had people express a lot of interest in them, and if people couldn't have made some of the dates we had, they were reaching out and seeing if there was an alternate. And so we're working to bring more of that stuff.
You're definitely seeing an interest.
Yeah, we're seeing an interest for sure.
And if you've already sold out the,
I think
concert at Cumberland Falls, then definitely an interest.
I'm not sure how it went. I think the orchestra was the one selling the tickets, and I think they put it online. And I think before we even had a social post out, it was already sold out. Yeah. Like it was that quick. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When the Louisville Orchestra played inside Mammoth Cave National Park, Mammoth Cave had to do a lottery because there was so much interest.
Is that right?
They played inside the cave in one of the rotundas.
When did they do that?
That was not last fall, but the fall before that. Or no, it was in May of 2024. Is that right? I don't know. But it was special. Yo-Yo Ma was there as well.
Yeah, I remember that now.
Yes. So
did you all get to go?
We did.
How was it?
It was fabulous.
Awesome.
It was more special than we could have imagined. And to your point about the parks being inspiring, that entire thing happened because Teddy Abrams, the composer, had taken several trips to immerse himself at the park, and he had written the entire score about the park, about the caves, and about the park after so many trips and so many hours and so much time there.
It's really cool. I think he's done something similar for Cumberland Falls too. I've heard.
That's so exciting.
Isn't that neat?
Yeah. Well, this is a detail that doesn't matter, and you may not know, but will it be outside?
It is. Yeah, it's going to be right up beside the lodge. That's where they're going to do it at. I think they had tried to get it down closer to the falls.
I can't imagine logistically that would work.
Yeah, I don't think that was going to work. So we're going to be upstairs by the falls. But like I said, they'll have activities going on down by the falls that day. And if you're coming for the show, come early and go see the falls.
Yeah, absolutely.
Spend some time there.
We actually caught the moonbow.
We did.
which is not
Since
just,
we talked last, or did you all find it last time? Or I don't
no,
remember.
we did it this spring. Yeah. We were so excited. We've chased it so many times. It was worth
It's a tough one to get sometimes.
It's worth chasing it. It's worth chasing it.
Well, I won't read all of the Halloween themed events to go back to our conversation earlier about campgrounds, but we've got a lot of them.
I bet.
That's, in the camping world, that's the event of the year.
Yeah.
And they'll decorate their campers. They'll do Halloween themed parades. They'll trick or treat. They'll have costume contest, pumpkin carving contest, pumpkin rolling contest, you name it.
It's going to happen.
It's going to happen. So there is a whole slate of different events happening at campgrounds all throughout the state park system on here, and more stuff's getting added every day. So if you look for something and you don't find anything that catches your eye, check back again soon, because the team is uploading events, every single day. I'm approving stuff to show up on here. So
and grab your reservations.
Yes.
For camp.
Yeah. If you don't have them already, you better be getting them soon. Yeah, for sure. But that's really a lot of what we got going on.
That's so exciting.
Yeah.
Now, you still have some campgrounds that are closed from the flooding.
Yeah, we do. No Land, I know for sure. I'm not sure on the status today of Green River. I think it's still closed. And that brings up another point, just something to make everybody aware of, that we're getting ready to go into a period of closure for several state parks to do much needed renovations and upgrades.
That's exciting.
Yeah, overdue. But the full list, I can't call off the top of my head right now. Most of them won't be happening until later on this winter or even early 2026 calendar year.
Okay.
And some parks, it'll be the entire park. But, Barron, I know will close. I think the plan for that is to close the lodge in February. But cottages, villas, and campground will still be open and taking reservations. And every park will be a little bit different. Like Dale Hollow, for instance, I think they're only going to close one wing of their lodge rooms. The other wing will still be open. So get on the website. We'll have a tab up at the top for alerts and closures so people can stay up to date on what's going to be closed and when. But that'll be tough. I know it's tough for our team that does like group sales and conferences and stuff like that, no doubt. But we're hopefully going to get a lot of things done that have needed attention for several years. So
that's very
hopefully
exciting.
We'll come out better on the other
Infrastructure improvement is always a positive thing, even though we know that the construction and the work is icky at times. Nobody really wants to. We just want it to be done.
Yeah, but it may be a little inconvenient, but I think sometimes it's necessary just to shut down and get it done and get back open.
Yeah, I think that's the spot we're in, Tony.
Yeah.
It's
because it's hard to remain open and do a lot of those things.
Yeah, and to provide any level of good service to the guest, and when, they're going to work around some issues, I think, to start, and then it's going to get to a point at some of the parks where it's like, all right, this will be a hard closure date, and it's going to be, I think Barron's I don't know for sure, so I'm not going to say, but it'll be a fairly lengthy closure because they're going to do a lot of stuff there, and it'll be, a lot of the utility work, HVAC, but then they're going to touch the rooms too, so hopefully there'll be upgrades, in the rooms too that the guests will see when they come stay, but a lot of the stuff they won't notice unless you've been to Barron consistently in the last few months to years. You notice some days it gets a little hot in there and we have to close the kitchen because it's dangerous for the staff back there because it's so hot back in the kitchen. So, that's obviously not good for anybody, and being able to put that stuff behind us and have the systems work the way they need to will be much better for everybody.
And I will say, your team was great this spring because we did travel to so many parks for the summer. When you do go onto your website, the information is so quickly updated and readily available and easy to find. It's really user-friendly. So people can, just exactly what you've done, easily access information about where they want to go, what's happening. This spring, especially when we were making plans, it was during all that flooding. Mm-hmm. So, there was really good real-time updates that the team was doing to make sure everybody was as informed as possible.
Yeah.
And that's not easy.
This spring were hard.
That was rough.
The last few years have been hard with the different weather events. There's always been some of this in parks. When you manage 44 state parks and 17 of them have hotel facilities, like there's always going to be stuff that is closed for one reason or another, or something happens. But these storms we've had the last few years have just been, they've really wreaked havoc on a lot of our parks and communities too. Well, obviously we're not alone in that. We care more about, our friends and neighbors, and some of the devastation we've seen in some of our towns have been awful, but it's just been a hard few years here. And it seems like it's hitting, even one storm event will hit multiple parks, and really make a big impact there. But it's a time the governor's been so supportive. The legislature has been supportive of parks, trying to get some of the funds we need to try to get kind of caught back up to where we need to be. And we're going to, hopefully keep making strides in that way. But so sometimes you just look at we've had a flood event. We were going to revamp and update this campground anyway. Now's the time to do it, so
here we go.
Grasping for silver linings, I guess there. But it was there was a lot impacted this spring for sure.
Yeah. And you all were also hosting people who had been displaced.
Still are in some parks. I think there's still some folks, yes ma'am, at Jenny Wiley still, and maybe one or two more. But going back even to the tornadoes in 2021, I think is the first time we really did that. And it seems like every year since, there's been at least one event where we've had to put folks up in park facilities or utilize campgrounds and FEMA trailers or something like that to help people get by until they can get back home, right? I mean, so it's tough. But if we can play a small part and be a small help, we're happy to do it. But it's tough. Yeah.
Just another really cool thing about, I think, the Kentucky State Parks, and that they really are the parks of the people here in the Commonwealth. They've been, we can't say enough. The staff at every park we've been to have just been phenomenal. They're so knowledgeable. They are excited that you're there, and they want you to know as much as you want to know about what they know, about why this has been set aside, this place.
Yeah, and they seem to really love what they do. You can just tell by talking to them, the smiles on their faces, their excitement.
No, I think y'all are exactly right. This is a line of work you usually get into for at least partially because you have a love or a desire to do these kinds of things and to share the history and the reason why it's so important. Yeah,
you feel that for sure. So, okay. Well, lots of really cool things happening, it sounds like, in the fall. And the website again is
parks.ky.gov. And I hate to be cryptic, but there's something we're going to announce soon, a really exciting update for Kentucky State Parks, but we're not quite ready yet. But make sure your audience is following us on all of our social channels. Okay. So there'll be something new and fun to talk about there. Just stay tuned. It'll be here shortly. And there's a lot of good momentum right now. I'll say that in state parks, and it's entering into my favorite time of the year. I already told you all why. Tons of events, tons of programs. And if you've been thinking about getting out to visit a park, now's the time. It's go time, right? Yeah. And you will come back hopefully and tell us more about winter. Sure. What's going on in the winter. And we'll talk more then. That sounds great. Thank you so much. Thanks, guys.